You don't make a difference fitting in. You make a difference standing out. And having the courage to stand out, that's what this is about. I'm a firm believer that any area of your life you don't empower, other people will overpower. So my topic today is the 7 areas of life that you're here to empower. So you can have mind mastery over your life mastery. So if you have something to write with and write on, you may want to take some notes, or you may want to listen to this more than once. Many people do, because I speak sometimes fast. So first of all, I'm first to outline the 7 primary areas that I've been focused on. Since I was 18, I wanted to master my life. And I started to coordinate what I considered a full life. And I divided life into 7 areas from my reading and from different people's models. But I believe that we have a spiritual quest, and that an inspired mission is the empowerment of the spiritual quest. We have a mind development quest, which is waking up our genius, innovation, creativity, and original thinking in that area, making a contribution to the world intellectually, and having great understanding in our life and wealth of knowledge in our life. In business, it's about making some sort of contribution, building some business that serves great numbers of people so you can be rewarded in life serving. And finances, it's about financial independence, the empowerment of financial independence. And in relationship, it's having a loving and intimate and fulfilling relationship, a partnership that you feel is fulfilling, being with somebody that you feel is a complement that's helping you fulfill your dreams. And then on relationship, in social, it's about empowering your life there and having an influence and waking up your leader that you have inside. Everybody has a leader inside if they're living authentically. And then the last one is how to develop a wealthy, healthy mindset to be able to have physiological well-being. I believe we want to maximize our physical potential and have a vital, energized body. I knock out 17, 18-hour days pretty consistently, sometimes 20 hours in a day, and I have full of energy. I'm not having a lack of energy. And how do you do that? So that's what the 7 areas are. And so, again, maybe you want to write down some notes here. I'll start with the mental area, and we'll go all the way to the spiritual area. Whatever's highest on your values, I don't ever do a talk without talking about values, but in your life, you have a set of priorities, a set of values, things that are most to least important in your life, a hierarchy of values. Whatever is highest on your value, you're spontaneously inspired to fulfill. And whatever is highest on your value is also the area that you excel in knowledge. Your epistemological pursuit of knowledge is mastered and mastered in that area. So anytime you want to learn something, you want to ask how specifically is whatever the content that I'm learning helping you or helping me, and you're asking yourself, helping me fulfill what I value most, what I feel is my mission. Whatever your highest value is your mission in life, your teleological purpose in life. It's also your ontological identity in life. And it's your epistemological pursuit of core competence of knowledge that you're going to develop. Whatever is high in your value, you filter out of your reality, whatever it is that helps you fulfill that. So that's why you maximize your awareness and learning potential in that area. So ask yourself, what the quality of your life is based on the quality of the questions you ask. Ask yourself, how specifically is the content, the topics, the book I'm about to read, the magazine, the article, the YouTube video, how is this information going to help me fulfill what is highest on my values? If I do that, I will absorb that, I will retain that, and I will apply that. And you'll maximize your learning capacity. I've been doing that for 50 years. I really didn't learn that particular topic until I was about 23. But when 45 years ago, I learned how valuable values were and how to master the learning process, which allowed me to learn how to read vast amounts of material, 30,700 and something books now, and allowed me to do that. And it's because I asked how specifically is whatever content I'm about to absorb, how is it helping me fulfill what's most meaningful? You've probably read in your life, and sometimes you read and it put you to sleep, and sometimes you read and it awakened you and you didn't want to go to bed. When it's engaging in you and you don't want to go to bed, that's because it's helping you fulfill what your highest value is. When it's not, it's putting you to sleep. The reticular activating system is calming you down because it's going boring. I can't see how I'm relating to this. I don't see where it's going to help me in my life. It shuts you down. So ask yourself, how specifically is studying this content helping you fulfill what's highest on your value, your mission, to help you fulfill your most authentic identity, and to fulfill what's meaningful to you. If you do that, you'll maximize your learning. If you're communicating to somebody, if you're talking in their values, they're going to learn it more. When you're doing that, you're going to learn it more. So whether you're at work or at school or whatever way you need to learn, ask that question. The quality of your life is based on the quality of questions you ask. In the second area, in your business, just know that nobody goes to work for the sake of a company. They go to work to fulfill what they value most. If they can see how the job description and the primary mission, vision, and goals of the company are helping them fulfill what they value most, they're engaged, they're inspired. There are people that can't wait to go to work. They tap dance to work, as Buffett said. But if they can't see it, they're going to want to take a break. They're going to want to escape. They're going to want to go on YouTube. They're going to want to go and eat. They're going to want to take an escape route. And they're going to want a vacation and a retirement instead of an engagement. People that are engaged in what they do are more productive, more inspired. The day goes by quicker. They don't age as much. They have eustress, not distress. So ask, how specifically is this job duty and the mission of the company helping me fulfill what I value most? That same question is gold, whether you're learning something or whether you're taking action. See, you have sensory perception, interneurons that are for decisions, and motor neurons for action. Sensory neurons, interneurons, motor neurons, perception, decision, and action. If you link all of those to what you value most, you maximize your awareness and potential in life. That's been the thing I love doing. In the Breakthrough Experience program, which is my signature program, I love helping people do that, to master these 7 areas. That's the whole purpose of the program, to help people break through whatever the limitations are that they have in their mind, show them how to reframe the perspective so everything that's in the way is now on the way, and they can see how whatever they're doing in their work or whatever they're studying is helping them fulfill what's meaningful to them. So they maximize the input and output in their life, which increases their productivity. I have a new book called The Productivity Factor on just that topic, on how to do that. Also, when you look at that, just know when you're communicating in your business, if you're a leader or a manager, an executive or salesperson, whatever, whoever you're communicating, whether it's an employee or it's a customer or to anybody, if you care enough about the other individual to find out what they value and communicate what you value in terms of what they value, you automatically maximize the respect and communication and dialogue. You don't have alternating monologues where people turned off while you're talking and vice versa. You're having dialogue. So you can empower your business by asking quality questions. How specifically is what I'm about to do in my career or my action steps, my job description, and the mission of the company? How does it help me fulfill my highest value? And how is it, whatever I want to say to somebody, how is it helping them fulfill theirs? If you take the time to master that, which is what I outlined in the Breakthrough Experience and in many of the other programs I'm doing in life, I assure you that will give you a competitive advantage in life. On the third area, financially, look, the hierarchy of your values dictates your financial destiny. If you don't have a wealth building mentality and you don't have a desire to grow wealth, it's not going to happen. I've interviewed thousands of people. I've interviewed over 100 billionaires and the people that are impoverished from one extreme to the other. And there's no question left. I'm certain that the hierarchy of your values is dictating your financial destiny. If you don't have a value on wealth building, you automatically are going to end up spending your money on things that are more important than wealth building. And that's perfectly okay. There's no right and wrong about it. It's just if you say you want to be wealthy and financially independent, but you don't have the value on it, you're going to end up beating yourself up. Because anytime you set a goal that's not aligned with what you value most, you're going to beat yourself up. So if you'd like to know how to transform the hierarchy of values so you increase the probability of wealth building, I show you how to do that. And that's basically stacking up how is doing the various action steps proven to build wealth. How specific is it helping me fulfill my highest value? I outline this and explain this in the Breakthrough Experience, and I show you how to do it in the Breakthrough Experience, and stacking those up and changing the associations you make in the brain so you have a wealthy mindset. And sometimes it's as simple as that to transform, and all of a sudden now you see opportunities, you take advantage of opportunities, and you start investing in buying assets instead of liabilities. People that don't value themselves, don't value serving people, and don't value wealth, they buy things that go down in value. People that do, they buy things that go up in value, and they appreciate in themselves, their life, and their wealth. So you can empower that area by the quality of the questions you ask. And I show exactly how to do that in the Breakthrough Experience and also in other programs and products that I offer. But on the fourth one, the relationship area, just know that the person you're with, the individuals you're with, they have a set of values. Whatever's highest in their value, their identity revolves around. Whatever's highest in your value, your identity revolves around. If you can't see what they're dedicated to as serving what you're dedicated to, you're going to want to change them. They don't want to be changed. They want to be loved for who they are. So if you're trying to change them, you're undermining the relationship. If they're trying to change you, they're undermining the relationship. And many people who are not living by priority, who are disengaged, who are in their amygdala, who are addicted to their pride and think they're right, project values onto you, and you're doing that to them, and you create clashes, and then you wonder what's going on in the relationship. In a breakthrough experience, I show how to dissolve that. How do you equilibrate the process? But right now, I'm just going to say that if you would love to have a more empowered, respectful dialogue between somebody you care about and somebody you love, you ask how specifically is what they're dedicated to, their highest value, and the actions that they live every day. How's it helping you fulfill what you're dedicated, what's highest on your value, and what you're living every day? If you can link those and keep writing down the answers to that back and forth, I can guarantee you all of a sudden your respect for each other will go up. Your communication skills will go across more fluently. I've done this. I've taken thousands of people through my values applications training, and in the process of doing it, I've shown them how to do it. I had 66 people in Japan one time, and they were going through the values training program. And when they were doing that, 66 pairs, which is actually 33 pairs, 66 people, 27 of them did business with each other afterward because they saw that they had such a value and respect for each other. So ask yourself how specific is what they're dedicated to, what their life revolves around. How is it helping you fulfill what you're dedicated and what your life revolves around? Your highest values. If you do that and keep linking that 50, 60, 100 times, 200 times, the more you link, the more you appreciate and respect the other individual. And the greater the relationship dynamic becomes. When it comes to leadership, just know that to the degree that you live by your highest values and you're congruent with who you are, your identity, the more integrity you have, the more you expand your space and time horizons and give yourself permission to play a bigger vision, the more you automatically walk your talk, the more self-worth goes up, the more you're able to discipline and be reliable and focused, and the more you're able to pursue challenges that inspire you to wake up genius. Leadership is basically congruency. It's the integrity of walking the path of congruency, doing what you really, really love, doing what you're inspired by, what's deeply meaningful to you, what you feel is your purpose in life. I've been a leader in the area of personal development and self-help area, you might say, and that's because it's been my focus, it's my highest value, it's my life's mission, and I just do it every single day, 7 days a week. I love it. I can't wait to get up in the morning and do it. When you can't wait to get up in the morning and do what it is that's highest on your value, and you structure your life and delegate lower priority things and get on with the highest priority things, you automatically wake up a leadership role. It's there. Everybody has a leader sitting inside them, but it's dormant because they usually are subordinating to outer people that they admire, injecting values, clouding the clarity of their own mission, trying to be somebody they're not, beating themselves up, wondering what's wrong, thinking they have limited beliefs and sabotaging, when in fact those are just feedback systems to get them back to authenticity to wake up their leadership. So leadership is to asking what is its highest on my priority and what is the highest priority actions I can do to help me fulfill that, and then delegating the rest away and giving yourself permission to be the leader. We either are basically following people in the culture or we're leading a culture. I'd much rather lead the culture than follow the culture. I'd rather be an individual that makes a difference than somebody that just fits in. You don't make a difference fitting in. You make a difference standing out. And having the courage to stand out, that's what this is about. That's what I do in the breakthrough experience. I show people exactly how to power all these areas and what to do and how to use the Demartini method to dissolve the distractions and all the baggage that you accumulate and get on with what's priority according to the values that you really hold and what your life demonstrates really you're committed to. Many people think they know what's important to them, and then when you actually go down and go through the breakthrough experience and discover, whoa, no wonder they keep not achieving what they say they want to achieve. They're pursuing something that's not really, truly their authentic mission. So if you'd like to get clear about your mission, please remember at the breakthrough experience is where we focus on that. Also, in health, your physiology is creating signs and symptoms, signs that you can see, symptoms that doctors can see, and you can actually, those signs and symptoms are feedback mechanisms to let us know when we swayed in our perceptions and we have an imbalanced perspective. If we're impulsively infatuated with somebody or instinctively avoiding somebody and resenting somebody, we're not seeing reflectively. We're too humble or too proud to admit what we see in others inside ourselves. We don't have equanimity within ourselves. We don't have equity between ourselves and others. We have a judgment, which leaves us empty and makes us a void, which makes us feel unfulfilled, and it creates signs and symptoms in the body. physiological, epigenetic signs and symptoms, autonomic signs and symptoms to try to make us aware that we're not seeing the whole. We're judging other people incompletely, and we're judging ourselves indirectly the same way. And those signs and symptoms, if knowing how to be interpreted, which is one of the things I talk about in the breakthrough experience, what the body is trying to reveal to you, then you realize that if you actually live by priority and live authentically and ask, no matter what's happening in my life, how is it helping me fulfill my mission, my highest values, the thing that I'm most inspired by and deeply meaningful? If you do that, then all of a sudden your wellness quotient goes up. You have eustress, not distress. Distress is when you're trying to go and seek a one-sided world and get smacked by the other side, and you have a fantasy and you get hit by a nightmare. Eustress is when you have an objective and you embrace both sides of life, and this is what happens when you live by your highest value. That's why I have people in the breakthrough identify their values, clear out the emotional baggage, get focused on what's inspiring to them, and help them live a purpose-filled life. So they have meaning in life. The thing that distinguishes us from the animals is meaning. So I'm a firm believer that if we go through and prioritize our life, it makes a huge difference in our outcome in life. I've been doing that all these years. When I finally got realization of how important values were back in age 23, I've been on focus on making sure I live by priority every day. I delegate everything other than what is inspiring. Anything that requires outside motivation to get me to do, I delegate. Anything that's truly inspiring, I stick to. And that allows me to go and build momentum, incremental momentum that becomes unstoppable. Also, under spirituality, when you're living by your highest values, you're spontaneous or inspired to act. You don't need motivation to act. I don't need motivation to do my research and teaching every day. I would need motivation to maybe cook or drive, but I delegate those. Anything that I need outside motivation, reminding or incentives or punishment or rewards or whatever to do or not do, man, I'm delegating. I'd rather find somebody who would love to do that, that is inspired to do that. So I'm surrounded by people and giving job opportunities to people that are inspired. And so I can go on and do what I'm inspired by. An inspired life doesn't come from desperation, doing low priority things. It comes from living by priority. So that's the way you live an inspired life. And spirituality, there's no reason to say that a person who's dedicated their life to raising a family is not just as spiritual as somebody who's a monk sitting on some mountaintop. It's all spiritual as far as I'm concerned. Whatever inspires you, whether that being in sports, whether it's growing wealth, whether it's growing a business, whether it's going and sitting and chanting and meditation, doing yoga, whether it's doing art, whether it's going out and being a socialite or a politician, anything that's truly authentic to you, that inspires you intrinsically, and taking and living by that priority is a spiritual path. And it inspires you, and you give an exemplification to other people. So all of those areas of life is what I'm interested in empowering. That's why I wanted to take the time in this little webinar to talk about the 7 areas of life and how do you here to empower them. That's why I teach the breakthrough experience nearly every week. I do what I can to try to take that information that I've been gathering for all these 50 years and disseminate to as many people and pass the torch to people so they can go and live an extraordinary life. I've been blessed to live a very amazing life because I've applied these principles, and I get to do them on a daily basis and help other people do that. It's extremely rewarding. And you can have a rewarding life doing what you love. And no matter what it is that you would love to do, there's a way of empowering all 7 areas doing it. And it's about the questions you ask. If you know how to ask the right questions, you can do that. In the breakthrough experience, I'm teaching you those questions, teaching you how to go and empower those 7 areas of life. I really want you to be able to do it, because any area of your life you don't empower, people are going to overpower. If you don't empower yourself intellectually, you'll be told what to think. If you don't empower yourself mentally or in vocation, in your career, you'll be told what to do. If you don't empower yourself financially, you'll be told what you're worth. If you don't empower yourself in relationship, you'll be told, honey, do this stuff around the house you don't really want to do. If you don't empower yourself socially, you'll be told propaganda and misinformation, which is loaded in the society today. If you don't empower yourself physically, you'll be told what drugs to take and organs to remove. If you don't empower yourself spiritually, you'll be taught some antiquated idea, an Aristotelian geocentric world instead of a cosmological picture for your life. If you want to go and do something inspiring, make sure you go and empower the 7 areas of life. And that's the quality of your life based on the quality of the questions. I just gave you some very powerful questions. In the breakthrough experience, I give you way more. I give you the Demartini method on how to dissolve the baggage that you may be accumulating in your life because of the going through and not taking the time to empower it, and how to be clear about your mission and clear about your purpose and your highest values. It's a gold mine of opportunity for people. It's 26 hours with me. You spent 20 or 30 minutes here, but 26 hours of intense focus on the mastery of life and to empower these 7 areas of life. I'd love for you to join me at the Breakthrough Experience because I love watching lives transform. I ask people at the beginning of the weekend, how many of you learned something, or at the end of the weekend, how many of you learned something this weekend that you could have gone your whole life, and if you hadn't have been here, you wouldn't have learned? Every hand goes up. I ask people, how many of you had a story that you came in with, and that story's out the door? A new story for your life, and a new trajectory is now here. All the hands go up. If you're ready to go and have that type of transformation, and you want to go and empower the 7 areas of life, and you want to have mind mastery and life mastery, come and join me at the Breakthrough Experience. Take advantage of listening to this little video again and again, but join me at the Breakthrough Experience so I can actually, for 26 hours, do what I can to impart the information that has transformed my lives and the lives of thousands. I look forward to seeing you at the Breakthrough Experience. Thank you for joining me for this little webinar. I hope that you are able to take the notes. If not, listen to it again and again. I know I speak a bit fast sometimes, but just know that when you're inspired, you're enthused, you're grateful, you love what you do, you're certain about it, you're present with it. It's a magnetic force that allows you to draw people, places, things, ideas, and events in life to do something extraordinary. So come and join me at the Breakthrough Experience. Take advantage of the opportunity. I'll see you there. Thank you for joining me. See you next week.